company digital event today this afternoon. I'm Jana.
And my name is Mark. How's everybody doing today?
And we've got Nicole from Sadie Quilts. Welcome, Nicole.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
How's your weather out there?
40s.
That's not too bad. We had snow this morning. We're a little bit less than that, but yeah.
Yeah, we're happy to have the sun shining.
Yeah, snow this morning, but mounds of snow over the last few days here in Utah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we just want to welcome everybody that is viewing with us either on YouTube or Facebook or on the Grace platform. We'd love to have you say hello so we can have some shout outs going here.
Yes.
First, we've got Delta Gilbert. She's watching from Traverse City, Michigan.
Welcome. Yeah, and then Paula, tell us, Paula, where you're watching from. You've been looking forward to this, it looks like, since we posted it. So tell us where you're looking from. We always love to see all the cities that come in and who's watching, especially when we have our dealers with us. And so anybody who knows Sadie's Quilts, who's been into their store or had contact, it's nice to see and hear from you as well. So Steve.
Welcome from California. We've got Wanda watching all the way in Canada.
Canada,
wow.
eh? You probably get sick of that, right?
Noreen is watching from Tampa, Florida. Welcome, Noreen.
Oh, Tampa, Florida. Well, that's warmer weather than what we have here.
Definitely.
Kissimmee, Florida. Annette, welcome.
Yes.
Oh, we've got Paula. She's coming
Okay,
from
Southern Indiana.
Welcome.
Roxanne, hi everyone. Yeah, it's just great. Atlanta, cutie owner. There you go.
Shout out to the cutie owners. Yeah.
We were just talking about the cutie.
Yes,
so
we were.
we were digging on the cutie. We love the cutie.
Welcome, Jeanette from South Carolina, and Janine from North Carolina.
Did you see how they put sunny in that last one?
The sunny, yeah.
That little jab at us. I think it's a little sunny. But actually, it's still, like Jana said, it was snowing, but yeah, sunny.
Debbie from Texas, welcome. Jerry's coming in from Washington. Ooh, Jeanette says, I've got the cutie frame too. Everybody's getting that.
I have my cutie. Fantastic.
Peggy from Stromsburg, Nebraska. And Edna from Tyler, Texas, welcome.
Yep. Roxanne, Kansas. All right. Southern California, sunny there.
Germany.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Dawn from Daytona Beach.
I'm jealous of all
I should
these.
have said cutie.
Yeah. I don't know if I like all these warm cities that are coming and
know,
watching
that's what
this.
I'm
Every single
thinking.
city is warm.
Well, I
Right.
think Bonnie's probably not warm in Ontario.
Yeah, Ontario, yeah. So Bonnie, you're probably with us. The snow.
Probably closer to mine, yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, welcome everybody. Continue to put those comments in the chat of where you're coming from. We love to see where everybody is watching and where you're watching, whether it's sunny or snowy or rainy, and wherever it is. Please let us know where you're watching from because we love to hear where you're from.
That's right. And also because it's live, put in any comments, any questions you have, and I know we'll get to a section that we can answer your questions, but feel free to put in your comments what you like, what you own, what you're thinking about getting too. I'm curious to know some of these, what I want coming in.
So a little bit of our schedule today. We're going to be doing one of our giveaways. We're going to go over those, all the different giveaways. The first giveaway we're doing is our luminous light bar, the 10-foot, which is fantastic. It's one of my favorite because you can do it at 11 feet, 10 feet, 8 feet, 5 feet. And then if you have a really large frame, you can get that 2-foot extension and put up to 12 feet. So this is a fantastic giveaway. We're going to be doing that. The first thing is that luminous light bar. That's what we're going to be giving away first.
That's right. And the light bar, it is LED lighting, so they're going to last forever. And it's just amazing. We were just got done doing a quilt show, and I love flicking the light on and off, and then all the customers look around because it just goes dark. And so if you're in one of those rooms that you need more lighting, the luminous light bar is, so the winner of this is going to be fantastic. But if you don't win, then reach out to Sadie's because Sadie's will be happy to get you the size you want. If you have a cutie, you can get a 5-foot light bar. If you need a bigger one, there's a 10-foot light bar. So reach out to Sadie's or reach out to Nicole at Sadie's because she'll be happy to help you.
Well, and I
Absolutely.
just was at a show in Tucson, and my favorite thing about the LED lights is it's not extra heat.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one big selling point when I was down in Arizona. Everybody's like, oh, it doesn't add that extra heat to my quilting area that I'm not going to be quilting and dripping sweat as the light shines down.
That's right.
Our second giveaway that we're going to give away today, it'll be towards the middle of the event, is going to be that True Cut travel kit. Now, I don't know if you've seen this. This is fantastic. It's got all your tools and little sections you can hold stuff in together, so you can take it on the road with you.
The travel kit, I don't know about you, Nicole, if you had a chance to bring that in, but we here at the Grace Company, we love the travel kit. And for those who are watching, if you travel to your quilt guild, or if you just go on a vacation and you still want to do some of the cutting, that travel kit has all the little things that you need in a nice bag to go with you. And it's just been a fantastic, one of those prizes that you can get the one who's looking to do more cutting. You may think of somebody. So there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from this travel kit.
Yeah, we haven't gotten them in the store yet, but I know that that's one of the things that we're looking at bringing in, just to give everybody another opportunity to buy, because we do the quilters bundle all the time. So when we bring that in, it's just the next level of stuff.
Yeah, it really is next level. And I love that in there is also a wonderful pattern to make a little pin cushion. It's the postage stamp cushion, quilt block, but as a pin cushion. It's so cute.
Oh,
so you
cute.
get that as well as all the other fun tools and accessories in there.
That's right.
Awesome.
So, I mean, we're talking about a couple of giveaways, and so that's why we love doing these. I mean, giveaways. We do a lot of giveaways, and I just want to throw that out there because, I mean, we got giveaway the light bar, we got the travel kit, but there's always going to be something given away.
And our final giveaway is going to be our grand prize.
Ooh.
It's the cutie frame with the 4-pack of bungees and the 8-pack of finesse thread.
Yes.
So that's fantastic. It's 4 solid and 4 variegated of the thread. The bungee clips, now if you've already gotten a cutie frame, those bungees don't come with it. You can order it separately, and then the cutie. And now if you already have the cutie and you win the cutie, well, fantastic. Then you've got one for the road and one for your house, right?
That's right. That's a great bundle. So the cutie with all of those, and we love our thread. We've been hearing a lot of great compliments with our thread. What you're getting is a 50 weight, 100% polyester, 1,500 yards, and there's going to be 8 of those in there. So the cutie, bungees with a thread, that's a big giveaway. And so 3 giveaways we're doing.
Yeah, so these have all been for the people who are pre-registered. So if you're joining us now, we're so sorry if you didn't get registered ahead of time, but it was always the pre-registered gift. Now, if you're joining us, please stay tuned because we'll also be doing some Plinko prizes for some of our fantastic True Cut products. So you can still win even though you didn't pre-register. We'll have the Plinko going on later.
Yep. So before we go move on, obviously there's a lot of comments coming in. So people love the finesse thread, you know, Jeanette, that's what she uses and she loves it. Melanie below that, love the finesse thread. So yeah, finesse thread, the light bar, any of the Grace products. And of course, Nicole, that's what you can attest to because you've been one of our great dealers. You came on board a couple years, about a year and a half ago?
December of 22?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, December of 21.
Yes, and I know we're going to get into your story, we're going to go on a tour, but I just have to say, you've been telling us the growth that you've had since you became a Grace dealer, and so maybe share a little bit about the growth that you've seen your business have, not only, you know, they'll see the tour, but, you know, you've grown.
Yeah, we've grown. Our store was originally just a small design studio for me, and then I brought in, I was already long arming with the quilting, but I was using the Grace machine to do it. So the Unique 21 was what I was using. It's a great machine. I love that machine, but we upgraded. And so now I've grown to 3 times the size of the studio that we had before.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's
and
awesome.
and just like everybody's watching, you know, we love our dealers. We love support our dealers. And so, you know, right now, all those cities that you're in, reach out to Nicole and her business because she'll be happy to get you what you want. If there's any upgrades, any purchases, like she says, her growth. And, you know, that's all because, you know, we love the customers going through the dealers. And I love, Nicole, that you're able to see what this machine and the product can do, not only for you, but for the customers who come to you. You know, it helped from a business standpoint. So that's fantastic.
Definitely. I have 2 machines that run daily with the automated software.
That's
So,
fantastic.
yeah, before I didn't have room for it. Once I moved in, I was like, let's do this. We're going to go
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
We're ready for 3 now because of the long
that's-
arming is so packed up. So,
That's great.
yeah.
So we've got Nicole's information on the screen. So we're here with Sadie Quilts, and you can reach out to them through sadiequilts.com or 585-648-8884 for any questions, for how to get these things ordered, any specials going on for the month. Contact Nicole. She'll be able to help you out with any of those questions that you've got going on.
That's right.
Okay, so we've got a lot of videos we're going to be watching and question and answers. And then at the very end of the show, we've got a brand new display of our Evolution hoop frame. We're going to show it to you. It just came out in January, so if you haven't seen it yet, it's going to be fantastic. That's at the very end, so stay tuned. Also, we're going to be doing fundamentals of free motion quilting with Carla, and then how to quilt on the cutie with Carla and Laurel. And then we're also going to have some information about the Sure Stitch Elite. Now, I don't know how many people have seen the Sure Stitch Elite, but every time I go to a store, people are just so happy that it's like, okay, I've got my cutie, I've been sewing, I've been trying to match my foot pedal and my hands together, but the Sure Stitch Elite now, oh my goodness, I can push a button and have the stitch regulation, and it's on special this month.
It is.
So stay tuned for that because we just want to talk about that fantastic item as well.
Yeah, and I just want to throw it in there, same with you with that. So, I mean, think about this. For you who are watching, you may have already owned the cutie, you may have a frame, or you may just have it on a sit-down table. The Sure Stitch Elite, if it's compatible, now it's compatible with a lot of your machines. And so go to our website, and there's some on there that we haven't listed, but there's a lot of the Juki machines, Brother machines, Baby Lock machines, Elna machines. But if you're already sitting down and you're using foot pedal, we know how tiring it is to have the inconsistent stitches. So the Sure Stitch Elite gets your machine, that's a foot pedal driven machine, to be regulated. So think about that. I mean, normally when you want to regulate a machine, right, Nicole and Jana, you're spending a couple $1,000s on a regulated machine. Now you can turn your own domestic machine, your 9-inch machine, your 11-inch machine, whatever size of machine, into a long arm machine with that regulation, which is really huge.
Yeah, I keep on telling everybody as I go through, like there's steps to take you from your domestic with your foot pedal, which you do learn a lot, just more practice. But then you get to the point where you just want it to learn that next step and that next level, and that's definitely where that Sure Stitch comes in.
Yeah, I really love that about the Grace Company is that whatever level you're at, if you're ready for a giant, or what space you have too, that's the one thing we talk about. It's like whatever space you have, whatever level of quilting expertise you're at, we have products that can help you get to that step and make it easier for you rather than making it a chore.
Yep.
Okay, so let's do our very first giveaway. So we're going to say bye to Nicole here for just a little bit, and we're going to do our first giveaway. So this is, as a reminder, is our 10-foot luminous light bar. It is LED lighting. It can go from 10 feet up to 11 feet with this version, and it can go down to 8 or 5 feet. So whatever size you're needing to fit for your area, it's going to get all set. And I mean, it's one of my favorite products that the Grace Company does, other than all our machines and frames.
Yeah.
It's my favorite accessory, I think.
Yeah, you can't have enough light, and it's amazing when people are like, I have this light, having a light directly over your unit. And with casters, you can move it over your cutting table, you can move it wherever you want, but the LED, it doesn't get hot, it lasts for hours. That's a fantastic, and you can set up in the size you want.
And it's the true color match system. So if you've got colors, I know sometimes if I'm trying to match 2 reds together and I think in regular light, that looks perfect. And I take it into the sunshine and I go, oh, that one's orange and that one's red. But with the true match light for the luminous, it helps you get that exact matching every time.
Yes.
So one of our pre-registration winners. So can we do
drum roll? Our awesome drum roll. Ready?
Fantastic. And it is Karen Ward.
Yes.
Congratulations. Karen, we will have you email our prize person who is allegra@graceframe.com. I'll put that up on the screen here. So if you'll email her with your information, we will get that luminous light bar sent out to you.
Yes, congratulations.
So again, that's Karen Ward won the 10-foot luminous light bar.
Yep. And again, for those who are just tuning in, these are the pre-registered. So if you didn't register for this event, we'll have many events that we'll do throughout the year with our dealers. So please register so you can get your name in the drawing to win the fantastic gifts that we have given away.
And stay tuned because we are doing Plinko prizes at our Q&A section.
I love Plinko.
So, yeah, so at the end of every video, we're gonna have an option that you can ask questions, and we're gonna ask a question for you to win Plinko. So stay tuned, keep your computers close, listen through the segment as we come up with have those questions asked so that you can win Plinko prizes.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go over to Nicole. I'm gonna pull her in here. We are going to do a tour of Sadie Quilts' area, and Nicole's just going to talk a little bit about that. So let's see if we can add her on. Nicole, are you there?
I'm here. I'm at the front door.
Okay, perfect.
So when you
turn it around or turn the time over to you to have the tour.
Okay. So when you walk in our door, you can see we have a lot of quilts on display, all quilted on my Grace machines. We like to highlight our fabrics that are going on, our new fabrics that just came in at the main door. All our rulers, all of our fun stuff goes on here. So as you come through the front door, you get to see a lot of bright and cheerful quilting and quilts that are going on in here. And so as you walk through, you can see we have lots of fabrics and displays up, lots of stuff on the walls. These are just, that design there is a design that I came up with a couple of years ago for a spool tree quilt using 5-inch squares. I still like to design. I just don't have as much time as I used to. And then our pre-cut display sits in the center of the table. And then it just gives everybody a chance to see what's going on with pre-cuts and all of that stuff. Those are a lot of our notions that we have in the store. And that's one of our best-selling patterns right above there. It's a charm pack pattern for a table runner. People love it because it's just an inexpensive pattern. 1 charm pack and a half yard of fabric just gets you a great little gift for your friends. So this is our reproduction fabric area. We are still growing this, but it's one of the ones that we're one of the only ones in the area that are giving or still have a lot of that fabric around. So that gives us the opportunity to get to different clientele. So we just have all these rows of fabric and batiks and yummy fabric stuff. Zippers, I love zippers. So we have every color we can possibly get. So walking through the center, this is our more great fabrics, lots of fun stuff. And as you come through here, the center, you see all of our Grace stuff is sitting here. We've got a Q-Zone hoop frame. One of the older ones. We have our Evolution Elite hoop frame, or Evolution hoop frame, the new Quilter's Evolution with a 16X on it. There's that great luminous bar on top. And then we've got our cutie display right next to it. That gives us the opportunity to have the cutie on the display next to the Evolution, so you can kind of see a size different. This is the 19X Elite that we run on a Continuum 8-foot frame. And then over here, can't see it, is our 12-foot frame with our 21X Elite on there. And that's been, I love that machine. It's my favorite. And then over here, we have a wall of all of our rulers and our true cuts and rulers for ruler work, and a lot of our stuff to support the long arm system. So it's been a lot of fun to just have more stuff around. We did not have room for this at the old store, so it's given us the opportunity to grow the store and get some more displays out. True Cut was something that I added on as we moved because it was fitting into what we like to use here. And then we have a 10-person classroom with lots of great quilts on the tables, but it's a 10-person classroom that allows anybody to come in and sew and have fun. A couple of us leave our machines up here all the time. So that's huge. We used to only have a 4-person classroom at our old store, so it was another place that we grew a lot. So that's our much bigger store. But our biggest thing is just having the Grace machines in here gives us the opportunity to show lots of neat things and be able to have a customer come in and try out any machine that they're looking for. And I guess that concludes my tour of the store.
Okay.
Yes.
Here we are.
All right, now I'm going to
making
have a problem with the mic, so.
That's okay. I'm gonna mute you really quick and remove you so you can switch to your laptop. So thank you, Nicole. That was fantastic. I loved seeing all the fantastic, one, quilts.
Yep.
But two, the fantastic fabric. I guess
There's a lot of fabric.
all quilters are fabric lovers and want to just play with them and touch it and think of all the fun things you can do with all that fabric. So thank you so much. That was so fantastic. So for everybody else, if you have any questions throughout the event, if you want to start placing your orders, you can contact Sadie's Quilts, sadiequilts.com, 585-648-8884, and you can talk to Nicole or send information out to her, and you can find all those fantastic things. So we're going to start with our first video. It is our Fundamentals of Free Motion Quilting Part 1 with Carla. So we're going to get started on that.
Before we get started,
Yes.
so I know a lot of them have been asking, where is the store? I know we got the email and phone number. So Nicole, I don't know if we could bring Nicole back on, but we can, let everybody know where your store is located. So if they're in that area, they can drop in.
Yeah, we're in Macedon, New York. So we're just outside of the city of Rochester, about 15, maybe 20 minutes outside of Rochester, 10 minutes from the New York State Thruway. Small little farming community that started out, but it is growing and exploding. It's the community that I'm in. We've had a lot of loss of quilt shops in the last 2-3 years. So me coming in and starting that has become quite helpful for me. But being in this smaller community has been great because everybody says, oh, it's so awesome to have somebody in the county that I'm in, Wayne County. So it's just a fun community that just everybody has been super supportive since I've opened up the doors almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, great. Perfect. All right. So wonder if everybody could hear Jana now. Jana.
Can you hear me?
Jana, thumbs up. Nicole, can you hear Jana?
I can.
Okay,
great. All right. So we'll get started with our Fundamentals of Free Motion Quilting with Carla. So we'll get going on that. So everybody stay tuned.
I get to talk to you about something that I really enjoyed as a quilter, and that's free motion quilting. And I've done a lot of research and I've been able to learn free motion quilting really on my own. Yes, there's some great quilters out there and they have a lot of good advice, but a lot of new beginners don't know where to start or why it's important to do certain steps as you're free motion quilting. And they just bypass it because it becomes a little difficult and they think that they're not artistic enough to do their own thing with the free motion quilting and drawing out designs. And so I just want to help you become more confident so that you are taking tips and techniques that I'm teaching to be able to go and give you the confidence and do your free motion quilting. So, doing my research, I had to think back of where I started, and I started quite a while ago. And so I have gotten better with my free motion quilting, and a lot of it comes from experience, and the way that you're able to sew across your quilt. Now, think back of when you first started sewing or first started writing or first started walking. You take baby steps, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about today is the baby steps leading up to it. Now, when you start quilting, a lot of quilters think they want to be this fabulous quilter right out of the bat, and you're not, okay? Because the machine's a little smooth and it's easy to make little wobbles in your designs. And even today, all the professional quilters are not perfect quilters. So allow yourself the learning curve. Just say, you know what? I've got to learn this and know that it can be learned. I mean, we all have to start somewhere in the quilting process. And so the first place I want you to start is practicing. And I want you to think about getting a doodle notebook. This notebook will help you come as a resource. It helps you practice drawing your designs, and that practicing as you're doodling is so important because it helps your memory retention as you come to the quilting frame. It allows you to remember which directions you need to move or how you want to draw the design. This doodling part of quilting is extremely important and something that if you're not doing, it's so much fun. You know, if you're sitting in front of the TV or you're just sitting there talking on the phone, put your phone on speaker and start doodling and just practice your designs while you're talking, because then you're doing two things at once, and that even helps you even more because it helps you remember the direction that you're supposed to draw, but you're doing another exercise talking at the same time, so you're trying to focus on two different items, so it helps you to multitask. So those are great tips and tools. So if you have any free time, just sit down and doodle. No matter where you are, even if you're in the car just riding along, listening to the radio. If you're the passenger, don't do it while you're driving, okay? But if you're the passenger, just doodle away. And a lot of our phones have pens that we can doodle as well. So start a doodle notebook. And start with easy designs. When we first started our penmanship and writing, we started out with easy, simple little things. And with a lined notebook, it helps you work on your proportions as well. So I have my little doodle notebook that has the lined papers in it. And as I started doodling, some of the first easy designs are just little waves and loops. And just start using the alphabet, the cursive alphabet, not regular letters, but the cursive alphabet is a great resource for designs in quilting. So this is a small case L and a little E. And I've just did 2 lines to show how I did the L, but I did the single distance between the 2 lines as the E. And I just, mastered that. So, and then another one is like a U. So it's a curve and an up, down, up, down, up, down. And like I said, the proportions on the lines really help you make it nice and even all the way across. So just to show you, and then as you're quilting, you can just do L's all the way across. Then you can add L and then an E, and you can do the U's. You can make them a little smaller, but then you can start adding elements to it. So you can do a U with a circle underneath, and then you curve over the top, do a circle again, and then you move around and you do your circle again. Then you'll add a circle at the bottom of your U, and then at the top of the U coming across the top, so that valley and hills. Let's call them valley and hills. So you'll add a circle on the valley and then another circle on the hill. And so you'll just move across. And then as you're working on your designs, what you'll do now is that we're just making the distance a little longer using my lines. So instead of just 1, I'm using 4 so I'm doing my little circle on the hill. And this will help you work with your meandering and learn how to stipple. So if you'll practice, and then practice changing the direction of how you quilt, that also helps your memory. And also change the position of the design on your quilt. So this is just upside down E's, and then I started doing upside down L's as well. So you can see that this would make a fun little element in a border or a sash sheet, doing the different directions. Now this is a capital L. It's just a nice loop coming back. And again, these lines help me keep my proportion of my design so that I have it proportionally correct. Now, it doesn't help with the distance, so if you're concerned about the distance in between, you could just measure going across like this and add little lines so that you can keep the distance correct and the circles correct. So there's lots of ways that you can practice your doodling. Now, this is a fun design as well. So this is just kind of a zigzag. It's so simple, but you wouldn't realize it. This is my start point right here. And I moved up at a diagonal to this line here. Okay, on my sheet of paper. So I went diagonal, then I went towards, if I was in front of it, it would have been the left, okay? So it's the right on me. So move to the left as you're sitting in front of it. And then you'll come back down to the diagonal and you'll move to the left again, and then you'll go back up, and you'll just keep doing that all the way across. So you have this little fun design. That's a fun one to practice. And so challenge you to practice something new and a little different. Then as you're doodling, another fun thing in your doodle notebook to also help you learn how to fill in different shapes. So I'm just using simple squares for my shape, but you could use a hexagon or a triangle and try different things. So just draw them in your notebook and practice with little filler designs. So this isn't even complicated at all. It's just a design that I did in the valley and the hills. It's a little longer, but I just went across making them vertical, and then I came across and made them horizontal. So it just changes direction. And on a quilt, it's very pleasing to the eye to have the different directions because it draws your eyes different areas. So practice on that. Then notice that now I started in the corner with my valley and hills, and I went this direction. So now I probably leave these two blanks. So try different ways of quilting. You don't have to fill in every area, and sometimes that can become a little messy. And sometimes you need that little space that has nothing in it whatsoever, and that makes it more pleasing as you're looking at it. So sometimes when a quilt has too much on it, it's hard to notice and recognize all that beautiful quilting, and sometimes less is more. So just decide how you like to quilt and what you like. Doesn't matter what anybody else likes. If you like it, that's great. Okay, now the stippling. A lot of quilters think, wow, let me start with the stipple. Stippling is actually a little harder than you would think. So practice in your notebook and practice in little squares so you can get the puzzle movements down. And stippling is just curves like a puzzle piece. and going in different directions to kind of make it look a little meandering across your page. So start in one corner, don't lift your pencil, keep going. And you'll notice that where you get hung up in a corner, just make it a little smaller and then come out. All the puzzle pieces are not exactly the same little size. They have small ones and large ones. So it doesn't matter if you get caught in a little corner. Notice that I kind of did a little erasing. That some of them are a little smaller because I was getting closer to my corner right here. So I kind of got caught there. So I had to just make this a little smaller. So practice that. And you can even practice it with points or spirals. Now, this is a fun little spiral design. It teaches you the basic beginnings of a spiral because spirals are not that easy to start with. So what you'll do is you'll come in and bring it to a point and then come back out. And I just kind of made it a little popcorn flower. And then you'll just come out and make it to a point. Just practice, practice, practice. And practice this all over your page. You know what? The more you do it, the better you'll become. So another simple design, I just wanted to show you about the spirals since we did the little popcorn, is this is a closed loop spiral. You can notice that as I come into it, I've got it really close to the same loop and I echoed around it. This is an open spiral because they're not touching. This is a closed and this is open because this one here, I closed it because each of the spirals are touching the next one. And this is open because they're not even touching each other. So it's going to cover more area more quickly as you're quilting. This is going to take a little bit more time because it's a little denser and closer together. So just look at the proportions and what you like and how you want to quilt. Okay. And a couple other little tools that I think are valuable for you. As I was working on processes and ideas, start again. I want to remind you, if you're not confident with free motion quilting, start simple. You can make a beautiful quilt with simple, easy designs. This quilt right here, I wanted to show you. It's open spirals, but it kind of gives you that movement. So as we were looking in it, it looks more like tree. And also we added names in this because it made it fun. It's like when kids were smaller, I put their names in things so that they would look for it and it keeps them engaged and excited about what we're quilting. So I added Charlie's name here. Okay. Now right here for the background, I did some stippling. And then for my flag, notice that I did the waves back and forth. And how much fun that is. Simple design. And then I did my stars. We all know how to draw stars. You just add stars and little loops to keep them going. And that's really it. Those are really, and then on the house here, we just kind of did some U's. But nothing complicated. But look how much fun the quilt is. And just from those simple, easy designs, boy, you can create beautiful quilts. And that's how we started out. It was just something simple. This is a really old quilt that I did a long, long, long time ago. Now, the quilt on the back wall is a little more complicated because I had more experience as I was quilting. Notice that in the sashing, I just did the loops. Simple, easy, but it's eye-catching. And in the center, I did the little X with some, it's a little feather X, if you want to call it. It's not really a wreath, but the back of the quilt is just as fun as the front of the quilt. So, and then I kind of took the feather design, with the little circle that I used in the sashing and the square, and added it to the border to keep it going. And the border was so easy to do. It's just a little paisley, a couple of them, and then a spiral. Nothing complicated, but I took some time and practiced before I started quilting. And I also positioned things off. My border, I sectioned it off to get my proportions correct. And your doodle notebook, as you're doodling and coming up with new ideas and new designs, is a great resource for you to look back on for your quilting. So the next thing I want you to do is get a piece of clear template plastic, okay? And you have a rougher side and a smoother side and a dry erase. And then this allows you to draw your designs on it, to see what designs you like. So I'm going to position this along my block here that I want to fill in. What I'm going to do is kind of section it off here. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I could start here in the corner, go like this. That kind of looks fun, a little different. And then you could just keep going and then just keep going this way. So that's kind of fun and a little different. So you could do something like that. And then we could come down here to this smaller square right here and then see what the loops look like. And you know what? Sometimes those mistakes are happy mistakes. See, I'm talking, doing what I'm telling you, and not. So just take this template plastic. It's a fun way to see what your design will look like and if it's what you want on your quilt. Then once you've done that, I would suggest drawing it on a piece of paper and then unthreading your needle. And then I'll just draw my design. And you're not sewing the paper to it or anything, you're just seeing what it looks like. And you can pin your paper to it. But just make sure that you have the movements down. It kind of looks cool on the paper too. There you go. That's kind of fun. So try that and pin it down and practice your tracing on the paper. There's a couple of different ways that you can use this, but you know, try these techniques and use them and practice your free motion quilting before you jump in and actually start quilting. It will help you become more confident in your abilities, and it'll allow you to remember how your designs work and which position you need to move your sewing machine to get to the next design. Really important. So let's thread our machine, and I'm just going to come down here and do my little loops right now. And you can see that I've just drawn on my fabric the design. Now, there are some really good markers out there that are water soluble that you can draw on your quilt, but I haven't found the best one yet. Once I do, I will let you know. But for right now, just use the chalk because I do know that it comes out. And don't use too dark of a chalk, just very lightly. Use a pencil as well. The simple little designs are the best way to start. I'm going all the way to the top. And just start moving across. And have fun while you're doing it. You know, learning can be a fun process. Because you could be excited about what you're learning and that it's new and different. I don't want you to be the type of quilter that feels like you have to stitch in the ditch all the time because that's what you're good at. I want you to try new things and new elements and add new ways of quilting. Try new things. Be different. One other thing I wanted to show you, it's kind of pleasing to the eye if you're changing from a large to a small, to start with a large and end with a large. And it just makes it more pleasing to the eye because then you think, oh, they ran out of room or something like that. So just make sure that you start with a large and end with a large, or if you're starting with a small, end with a small. It works a little nicer and it's more pleasing to the eye. Just a couple more things as you're quilting. Just a few thoughts that I want to bring to your attention is as you're quilting, even free motion quilting, getting your quilt on nice and straight really does help it turn out more even and beautiful. If you put your quilt on uneven, it's going to look a little uneven and a little sloppy. So as you're putting your quilt, use your cloth leaders or make sure that your edges are nice and straight. It just makes a lot of difference as you're quilting. And it keeps it from moving up your quilt at an angle or down. So make sure that you have a straight line going across your quilt and that your edges of your top and your bottom are nice and straight. And if it's a piece top, make sure that you're positioning your top where you want that strip or wherever you want that block to be. So if you want to spray baste as you're positioning it, you can. I do not like to baste. It's something that I just don't want to do. So I'm very aware, because my backings are always piece, of where I want that center, if I want it centered or if I want it off to the side. Then the other thing is as you're quilting, just recognize that there are different size throats of machine. I'm using a 19-inch machine, so I have quite a distance I can travel, and I could make a larger design, one big, huge design. If you have a smaller throat, then the size of your design is going to have to be smaller and in proportion that you can quilt it without hitting the back of the machine. So as you're quilting along, if you have a smaller throat, then you're going to hit the back of the machine and it can mess up your design. So make sure that you know how far you can quilt without hitting the back of your machine. So I like to, with my chalk, just mark. So I'm not going to mark it down here past the foot. You're going to want to mark it up here before it hits. So I know that that's how far I can travel without hitting the back of my machine. And then if I hit the back of my machine, it's going to mess up my design and cause me to have a straight line because I'm hitting the back of it. So make sure that you do your markings as you're quilting along and that you're tacking down the edges of your quilt. If you happen to sew off the edge of your quilt as you're coming back onto it, I'm just going to show you right down here. It can fold over the edge of it, but also it can get caught between the needle and the foot, and you can sew your quilt block down in your foot, and then you're just going to have to cut it out. Or be really careful as you're unpicking it right there. So notice that this is extremely important and a lot of, one that I learned the hard way. So learn from me, okay? I do not like to unpick, but yet I made a big mess by not tacking down the edges of my quilt. And so ever since then, I've been very religious about tacking down the edges, even with free motion quilting. And even if you're quilting inside this area, it's a good rule of thumb to always tack down your quilt edges, because you never know if you're accidentally going to sew off the edge. So those are just a few rules and techniques. And I look forward to you joining me for part 2 of this, where I'm going to show you some accessories for free motion fundamentals that you can use to help ease you into that process. So join me next time. And please, look at the spring fling, look at all the beautiful quilts that are there. If you have quilts, enter them, and join me again for our next free motion fundamentals. Welcome everyone, I'm Carla Jerome. This is Laurel, and I get to show Laurel how to use this fabulous little cutie frame. First of all, it's very easy to put together. It is a solid little frame. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to vibrate off the table. So no need to worry about what surface you're really doing it on. You just want the table to be nice and level. You could even use it on your countertop, in your RV. It's just such a nice portable frame. Now, Laurel, that you've put it together, just make sure that you can move the carriage side to side, front to back freely. after you've set your machine on the frame, the height of this pole here is called a take-up pole because it takes up all your quilt after you've quilted. A good rule of thumb is to put your hand underneath with it laying flat, and you can tell it just barely hits, and so it's the perfect height right underneath here. So then, just coming and looking at this, you want to make sure that this pole, see how it kind of angles down just a little bit? Just make sure that it's even right underneath here. So to put your hand right across here and kind of tell.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about the sewing machine. These right here, these are called feed dogs. They grab the fabric and kind of push it along as you're piecing or sewing. Okay. These need to be down so you have a smooth surface to move your quilt through. The other thing is the foot that you use. You need an embroidery foot or a quilting foot, something that makes it easy for you to glide across. You just want a smooth foot that you can easily see. Then the other thing is bobbins. I like to wind several bobbins before I start so that I don't have to stop in the middle of it. So look at your project and decide how much quilting you want on it and kind of guesstimate how many bobbins. Let's talk about preparing our piece quilt for quilting. If you're going to piece your back, just make sure that you've ironed it and pieced it correctly. So we're going to lay our piece backing, and I have gone and found my center of my backing, the top, and I've marked it with the pin, and the center with the bottom. So this will help me line up my batting. And I found the center of my batting as well, top and bottom, and I pinned it to my backing, and then I just pinned the sides. So now all I have to do is line up my pins, and I can just move it over and line it up. And that's all we have to do. Let's talk about leaders. I have a few inches on the top and a few inches on the bottom. The leaders are an extension of your fabric. If you don't have them, you will need to make your backing that much wider and that much longer. One leader's got cording in it to help you start rolling it up. You'll find the center of your leader. I'm going to just take my pencil here, or my pen, and just mark it. And I write a C for center. I'm just going to take my leader, and I'm going to line my backing up all of my pins, and I can take one pin and just pin straight across. And I'm just going to do that all the way across my top. And so we'll quickly do that. And the same thing that I do at the top, I'll do at the bottom. You'll just pin it straight across. And you'll always pin from the center out. And the reason is if you get a wrinkle or anything like that, you're pulling it from the center out so that you can adjust. Now this leader is quite a bit longer, and that's for your larger size quilts. So don't cut it down. It's not going to inhibit you in any way. It's just going to help you. You do the same thing with the bottom one. And the bottom one's even wider. So as you get to the end of your quilt, the leaders allow you to quilt all the way to the edge of your beautiful quilt that you've created. If you didn't have them, you'd have to cut a portion of it off because you couldn't sew because it'd be wrapped up over the pole. And I have a couple of sets because I get bored with my quilts, and so I like to jump from one project to another. So sometimes it's nice to have two sets. And with these frames, you can take them on and off and start on something new. We're going to slide our leader through the arm of our machine and adjust it to start quilting. We want to make sure we're putting our backing and our batting and everything under the foot. One thing I want you to notice, your carriage and your machine will only go so far before it hits the sides. So if you move your machine all the way to the side, you can notice that eventually your machine and your carriage will hit the side of the frame, and we don't want that to disrupt our quilting, okay? So I'm going to adjust my starting side out a way so that as I'm starting, I'm not going to hit. I'm going to move it all the way down, but I want to make sure that I can quilt this edge, okay, without it hitting.
Okay.
And now we can start putting our clamps on. And you want to adjust it also so that you can start right on this edge. So you can pull the batting up just a little bit. And so bring your machine out where it's going to start. See, we have that much area. So let's pull it up just a tad more, and there we go.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll put my needle in the down position. So what I like to do now is make sure my back has no wrinkles in it.
Okay.
And so I like to just pull it. And then sometimes I'll baste across the top edge to hold my quilt in place as well. So we'll have you do that in just a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to now put on our 2 bottom clamps. Okay, and they go on a specific way. So you look at the name right here. This name has to be showing correctly, and we want to take these up off.
So facing you.
Yeah, facing
Or
you.
cutie, like I did.
Yeah, so the cutie needs to be facing so you can read it, not upside down, okay? And as you clamp it on, and clamp it down. And it comes with 2 side clips, so you can put them on. And it comes with 2 side leaders also, so you could clamp that on and pin it, so you get extra tension. And helps keep it nice and straight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull our quilt out, and we're gonna start rolling it up. And you can look at your wrinkles on the back as you're rolling. I've got one right here. Just pull it out from the center out, just like you would on a rolling frame. And just keep rolling. Now we're just going to clamp it. Let's start rolling this on, and we can clamp this as well. And make sure you're counting all your little clamps, because if you leave one undone, you'll notice it and feel it. Okay. With this frame, you can sit or stand. If you're using a machine that requires a foot pedal, you will want to sit. So I'm going to have you sit down. You want to make sure that your machine is threaded correctly. And so make sure that you have the thread pulled through your tension knob and through the spring so that you get that tension. But right now, you can tell that as I pull this, how easy it is to pull.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
because your presser foot, which is this foot right here, and this is the presser foot lever, isn't down. Once I put the presser foot down, you can feel that tension. And so you need to remember to put the presser foot down. Otherwise, you're going to have really loose tension, and your thread's going to look like shag carpet underneath, and you don't want that. Once you have the presser foot down, you want to make sure that you bring your bottom thread up. So find the needle up, needle down button on your machine, and it'll go down, and then push it one more time, and it brings the needle back up. Now, if you'll just barely move your machine away, see how it's going to pull up that bottom thread?
Okay. Yeah, the loop.
So that you don't have any of those thread tails underneath, okay?
Okay.
So you just pull that up. One other thing I want to point out is we want to tack down the edges of our quilt, just in case we sew off the edge. Notice that my foot is underneath my quilt, so if I sew off the edge and I start coming back, it's going to grab that quilt and make a wrinkle in it, and it can even tear your quilt. So what we're going to do is move the machine down as far as we can. I'm going to lift up the presser foot just a little bit, put it on that wide area right there, because it doesn't matter how straight it is. I'm going to cover this with my binding. So when you're pushing down on the foot pedal,
Okay.
if you push too slowly, the machine's just going to barely start revving up and start moving, just like with a car.
Okay.
And so you want to make sure that you give it enough acceleration so that as you're pushing it, your stitches look decent. And you're going to go up to this corner and go across as far as you can reach.
Okay.
Okay, now start going across. See how easy that is? There we go. Now you hit the back. So now you can hit that
Now I
thread
do
cutter if you want. There you go. So now we've tacked down our quilt. Laura, do you feel comfortable just jumping in? I've drawn the design on for you and start to quilt, or do you want to practice first?
I've never really done this before, so let me practice.
So practicing to get the motor skills and the thought process is really important to free motion quilting. So just take some time. We got our paper here,
Okay.
and Laurel has her pencil. You could maybe kind of draw the design through the paper, and it doesn't have to be exact. It's just to learn the motion so that you understand it before you start quilting. Take a piece of paper, lay it over the fabric, and just trace an outline of them so that you can understand the proportion and how far up and how far down to move.
We'll start with just that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So just move it off to the side here and just see what I've done. So you're just going to start up there, and you just start with this one right here.
So just
And just go up, down, up, down. It's really easy. I chose really simple, easy designs to start out with. But even the simple, basic designs like up, down movements make your quilt that much prettier.
Yeah, well, this is good for me because like I said, I've never really done this
And
before,
that's
so
all you do.
simple's good.
And then when you feel comfortable, then we'll just start. Yeah.
Loop, loop. Okay, I think I got a good idea.
All right. I've taken a chalk pencil, and in the star area, I thought it'd just be fun to just do a nice little long loop. One other thing I want to point out, with the hoop frame, because you have covered up most of your area, you don't know when you're going to be coming close to the end to hit it.
Yeah.
So we'll take a little piece of tape, move my machine down here, and we're going to mark it just inside this area. This block right here is as far as we can move. Now the front. You know that you're not going to have enough area to quilt this block here or a part of this block, okay? So we're going to have to just focus on this area up here, and then we'll shift it so you can do this whole block all at once. So you're just going to focus on this top row, and you remember how to pull your thread up?
Yes.
Take a deep breath.
Okay,
And start out
let's
slow,
see.
and you'll get very comfortable, and then just enjoy.
Okay, well, let's go for it.
There you go. Good job. And you don't have to stay right on the lines. It's just nice and smooth. Yeah. It's fun, isn't it?
Yes.
There's your first one.
Boom. Okay, I got this.
Yes, she did. She has it.
Okay, let's try just a little bit of this one.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start right here.
Uh-huh. There you go. Nice. See, she's getting more confidence, so she's going a little faster, just like your learner's permit.
Yes.
There you go.
Awesome. Look at that. I can totally do this.
Yes, you can. We knew that all along. So now while we've got Laurel quilting, I'm going to talk to you about the different machines that this cutie frame can accommodate. Up to a 19-inch machine. So you can put the 15M, the 15R, the 15 Pro, or the 19-inch machine on this frame. And what's nice about it is this piece right here extends out, so it can give you more quilting surface for you to quilt. Another nice feature is you can add automation to it. You are not limited to the way you want to quilt. If you are not comfortable with the free motion quilting, you can add automation and have it do the quilting for you. It's just a fabulous frame. It is for anybody and everybody. If you need a second frame and you like to quilt on the go, this is the frame for you because you can fold it up, put it away, and store it and get it back out. If you're a seasonal quilter and you have a second home and you need a quilting frame, hey, this is good for you. Somebody who's in assisted living who wants to keep doing what they love, this is the frame for you. And you saw with Laurel, man, she's going for it. She is a quilter now. And are you liking it, Laurel?
Yeah. I just want to keep going.
Laurel has finished up everything that she could quilt and as far out as she could quilt. And so now she gets to shift the quilt to finish up the next section. So that's what we're going to do right now. When you're rolling or when you're shifting, you don't want to roll it up all the way past so that you have a space in between as you're quilting. So you want to leave a little bit of what you quilted showing. So maybe about a ½ inch.
Okay.
We'll just shift it down this way. And we'll just lock it into place and you can finish up and then we'll roll it up.
Okay.
Let's lock all these in place first.
Okay.
I always like to lock these in place so I can get the wrinkles out. All right, and let's just pull this up. Kind of pull it out like that.
Oh, yeah.
And put it on. And then we'll just lock it into place. She's going to just finish this next section, and then we're going to shift it and start rolling so that she can finish this. And then I'm just going to come around here. And with your leader claws, you get a little leader to hold right here, but I'm just going to hold it.
Okay, I think I'll tack it down really quick.
There you go. There you go. Nice. Right there. There you go.
Okay, come in and do these sections.
All right, she's just got a few more to do. And see how quickly she's mastered using her domestic machine and the design. It really does help to draw your design in your blocks. And she's mastered the foot pedal, thread cutter really well. Now you feel like you're kind of in your groove. You've got your rhythm.
Yeah,
you
just
know
keep
what you're
going.
doing.
Yes.
It's comfortable now.
Yes.
All right. What we're going to do is unclamp and we're going to adjust it so it's up just a little bit. Okay. Take these off. And this cording on this leader cloth just helps to make it a little easier for you to start rolling your quilt. Let's move the machine over here and make sure that we have enough room that we can quilt this.
Okay.
And so that's what we want to do. And because when we put our clamps on, let's put this clamp on first, and let's see where it lands. Okay, that's pretty close, and we're going to hit the back there. So we don't want to, and we can't even quilt the whole design.
Okay.
So we know we've done it too far, but that's what I'll do, is I'll sit there and I'll adjust one end.
Okay.
That way it's easier to line up all the way down the quilt.
Gotcha.
Okay, there we go.
So then you can see.
Can we? Yeah, we can. Close.
Okay.
All right.
I was going to say, even just doing this little bit of section, I really like the domestic machine because I think it's a good starting point. But I find myself wishing I had a bigger throat space just because already I could have stitched maybe this whole section.
Right. We'll just put this on and pull it as we're. So let's just pull this section right here. And we'll let you put this one on. Quickly roll it up.
Let's pull up the chair.
Remember, we need to mark so that you don't hit the edges, okay?
Okay.
So you can take your existing piece, then let's move it down this direction. Let's figure out how far we can do it. Oh, right there, that's almost perfect. So you're just gonna stop right there, okay?
Okay.
Nice job.
Awesome.
Laurel has mastered quilting.
Yes.
So Laurel, this is your very first time machine quilting using the little cutie tabletop fabric frame.
Yes.
So, was it easy?
Yes. Oh, yes. It was way easier than I thought it was going to be. It was super easy to get the hang of, to be able to just hook it on.
Could you go home and do it by yourself?
Oh, yeah.
If I wasn't there to coax you along
Yes.
and help you, and did you enjoy it?
Yes, I already want to keep going. I just want to keep doing the whole thing.
She's going to keep going. So thank you for joining us, and we hope you've learned a few things and purchase your cutie tabletop fabric frame today.
That.
Oh, I'm trying to get us on, sorry.
You're on, we're on, we're on. We're good. There's Nicole. Well, that was great. A lot of great techniques. Nicole, I know from your experience of quilting, like what did you, I mean, so many techniques that were covered on free motion quilting, right? In those videos.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that stood out the most to me was Carla's talking about going and using a notebook and just tracing over and going over and over and over stuff. And that was fantastic. It reminds me of the Awesome Quilters bundle that she had created, you guys had created. I actually have one left in stock. I don't know how many more are out there in this world right now. But it just reiterated that whole fact of just tracing and trying and just doodling and just making it become natural. And it just, that fluid motion of just going through the process of continuous repetition makes such a difference overall. I know even when I've been demoing, because I use computerized all the time because I use the QCT software continuously in our store because I don't have time to actually do free motion quilting. But as I demo over the past 2 years, it changed the way that my loop-de-loops are looking, all of that fun stuff, because it's just repetition. And just like, even on the cutie, just starting with that foot pedal and how do we go forward, to all of a sudden you're like, wait, I can get better stitching, but I have to remember that my foot and my hand are moving at the same, my arms are moving at the same time as my feet and all of that. So you have to like learn a little bit different. But that repetition definitely makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does. I have to say this. So I got a couple of thoughts. So Roxanne, right? You guys make it look so easy is what she's mentioning. So, I've been to a lot of shows. I've talked to a lot of customers, and it amazes me. Okay, put a number 1 in the comment if you are scared to free motion. Okay, if you are the
You just want to
quilter,
do automation and pantograph work,
automation and pantograph, or just in general, like you are just scared of free motion quilting. Like right now, we sit down to quilt. So a lot of times, you sit down to quilt, you just get those straight lines because that's kind of what what you want to do is the straight lines, right? You don't want to venture out and try to do swirls. But put a number 1 in the comment if you are scared for whatever reason to do free motion quilting. Okay, that's the first thing. Roxanne says you make it so easy. Yeah, Roxanne says you make it so easy. I have to say, we went over a lot of great ways to quilt. Put a number 2 in the comments if you now believe that free motion quilting can be easy with the technique that Carla was showing with how to get that muscle memory, what we need to do. Put a number 2 in the comments if now you're like, oh, I can do this. Because if you think about it, you're really moving your machine around the fabric, which can be your pen, right? There's a couple of ideas that she brought up in the first video that if we think about our machine being the pen, then you can do exactly what she was doing in the first video by having your machine be the pen and you are doodling around with your pen. And so, yeah, there's a lot of 2s coming in. So 2, again, means that now you believe that you can do free motion quilting. Because you're right, it's not an easy thing. And Roxanne, you said it makes it look so easy, but that's because we did a couple things on our quilt to allow us to get that muscle memory in the quilt, right?
And Carla really does. She's not saying, oh, hey, this is a great tip for you, and I do something else. If you've ever been around Carla, she has a notebook with her. She's doodling all the time. She does do those techniques that she's showing. It's not just something for the video. It's the technique she uses all the time on her quilts. Like she was showing at the very beginning, she had that quilt with the flag on it, and she was showing, okay, I did this with this part of the quilt, and I did this with this part. She had the wavy lines with the flags and the stars in the other section. So it's I think we get stuck in like, oh, my quilt has to be the same thing all the way, and you don't have to get stuck in those kind of rote kind of designs.
Right, you don't have to.
If you look at the quilt behind me, this way, that way, whatever.
Yeah.
Behind me, there with the hearts. I mean, that's a great quilt just to start and play with what different things you can do inside each heart, right? Each heart can be a different motif or whatever. And that's what I often have. I have some panels that I bring in for the store just to show people how to do different techniques all day long. Because on each panel, sometimes like the quilt that Carla had, it was a great panel just to show that you can do different things in different places.
That's right. Okay, so there's a lot of 2s that coming in. So now what I want to add to that is when we're moving the machine or moving the fabric instead, which how many of you, okay, sorry, I'm going to do another one. Put a number 3 in the comment if you do sit down quilts by moving your fabric underneath your machine. Go ahead and put a number 3 if you're that quilter.
You got it around your shoulder.
Yeah, around your shoulder. You're trying to manage. Yeah,
pushing it through. Yeah.
Yes, and so put a 3 in the comment if you sit down to quilt because you don't have space and you're moving the fabric underneath. which these types of quilters, I can see why free motion quilting can be a challenge, because we're not used to moving. We want to do swirls, or like what she was doing, and we're trying to move the fabric underneath, and then your shoulders, your fingers, your whole body is just feeling like, oh, I got so much I got to do. So there's threes coming in. The cutie, which we saw there, going back to what we talked at the beginning, the cutie is such a fantastic, I'm going to call it an accessory.
Not just a frame.
It's not a frame, because a frame to me, if I don't have the space, is big, it's expensive. The cutie is an accessory to your own machine. Everybody who's watching already owns their domestic machine, and they probably have 2 or 3 of them. Now we can put your machine on the cutie, and just like you saw Laurel there doing the quilt, Roxanne, I keep going back to her because she says it makes it look so easy. That's how easy it is when you put your own machine on the cutie to move it around. And then with the techniques that Carla taught, you can be up and going by doing different things that you never thought you can do. Very simple, very easy. And then to Roxanne's point, everybody who's listening and watching, you're going to make your quilting so much easy, and it's going to look easy, because moving your machine around the fabric, that's easy. Moving the fabric underneath the machine, that's not easy.
Hard.
Now, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot out there that can do that type of quilting. So, I mean, you can still quilt that way, but it is way easier to move your machine. It's like when you write your name.
Yeah,
Right?
you're not moving the paper as you
Yeah.
hold the pen
Yeah.
still. You sign the pen
Yep.
on the paper.
Yes, exactly. So there are a lot of threes coming in. There are a lot more twos coming in, which tells me now that everybody who saw these videos are ready to get a cutie. Go to Nicole, buy that cutie, put your domestic machine on there. And if you have to, use your foot pedal. It is really easy to use your foot pedal. If you get the regulator, that's even better. So I was just watching these videos. I'm like, I just got back from a show in Virginia, and everybody I talked to was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like, there's no way. And they're so scared to move the machine around. And it's like, go ahead and write your name. And when they saw them write their name, they're like, oh, this is easy. So all those people out there who put 1 in there and 2 and 3, this is for you. Anyway, sorry, that's my little cutie rant, because I just love the cutie, and I love when quilters can journey on further with their hobby, because there's something out there that we have that allows you to not be scared, use your own machine, which is fantastic, because you already know how to use your machine, right? You feel comfortable. Whatever machine that is, you feel comfortable using it. So
Yeah.
put it on the frame.
So we had a question from Christine that I wanted
I was
to
going
bring
to talk
up
about
here.
that, yeah.
Her question, let me get it here. She says,
Ooh,
if
I
you
love
do
it.
not have stitch regulation, how do you keep your stitches consistent?
So, Nicole, you probably have your thoughts on there.
Practice.
Yeah, practice, right? Practice. I will say this, moving your fabric with your foot pedal, it's easier, it's harder to try to keep the stitches, because if you step on your foot pedal faster, guess what you got to do with that fabric? You got to
push
move
it
it
through.
faster. And if you slow down, you got to also slow down. If you use your foot pedal with a cutie and you have the handlebars, I almost do like the eye test, because as I'm looking at it, and if I step on the foot pedal and it's going medium speed, well, I know I got to move the machine around medium speed, because if I went faster, you're going to get those longer stitches. And if I slow down, you're going to get those very small stitches. So I kind of look at the eye test, and you kind of look at it and you're like, yep, that looks good. And you keep going and you keep moving it. And pretty soon, give this a couple of minutes, even with the foot pedal on the cutie, you're going to find that your stitches are going to stay consistently
Definitely.
the same size, because it's easier to move your handlebar than it is to try to move the fabric to keep up with how some of you guys might be lead foots, and you're stepping on that foot pedal and your needle's going.
And you got to push it as fast
Yes.
as you can.
That's right.
And so, yep, and now just move your handlebar just as fast. And so, great question. But that's just my thought with that is it's easier to manage your quilt length with the foot pedal if your machine doesn't have the regulation, because you can do the eye test. You know how fast your needle's going, which means you know how fast you got to move the handlebar. And you're going to see right away.
I often find when I'm demoing it here, people are scared to press your foot pedal down, like how, so their stitches are really long, and they're like, well, this doesn't look right. So I think a lot of it is people are just scared more than anything else, just to try and like push that foot pedal down. So I think that that's another thing that people like, practice is huge. But the foot pedal, it just it's a hand-eye foot coordination instead of just a hand and eye coordination. It's a little bit more, but practice makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So if you have any other questions, please put them in. We'd be happy to answer those questions for you. This is the time for not only the last 2 videos that we saw, but any other questions you have about Grace products or quilting in general. We will try and answer those in the next little bit. But we also want to do some giveaways here for Plinko. You can see we've got our Plinko board up. We've got some fantastic True Cut products.
Glare, though.
There is a glare. That's okay. That's the part we don't care about.
That's
just the beginning.
We'll talk about what's down here, but don't worry about what's up right here.
So the opportunity to win items are the 60 millimeter straight cutter, and that's fantastic. It's got the new magnet feature. So as you're adding the blade back onto your cutter, you do not have to touch the blade. You can just touch it and it's magnet. We have a rulers bundle set for the square rulers. That's the 12.5, the 9.5, and 6.5 square.
I love those.
The circle cutter, that one's fantastic. I love the circle cutter. The 45 millimeter comfort cutter, and then the square ruler, or the rectangle ruler bundle as well. The 6.5 by 12.5, 6.5 by 24.5, and the 3 by 18. And then finally, last but not least, finesse thread, because you always got to stick the finesse in there.
Yes. So these are the giveaways. True Cut, if you don't know what True Cut is and you're about to win True Cut and you do a lot of cutting, we have a lot more products. Nicole, I believe that you bring those in so you can order through Nicole.
Yeah, you can buy them from me or come in for a live demo. We demo it all day long here.
Yep.
Anybody who comes in who doesn't know what they're doing with it, we have it going on all the time.
Go see it. Go see the live demo. Yes, the True Cut is an easier, safer, more accurate cutting system. You're going to find just a quick discussion about how True Cut works. A lot of us, when we cut with the ruler, we tend to veer away from when we're going up the ruler, we can go away from the ruler's edge.
Or over the top.
Some of us can nick our fingers. You damage the ruler. So there's so many things that we do when we cut. The True Cut system, you're going to find that we have a track and guide. All the rulers have a taller 1/4 inch on the side. All of our cutters come with a nice guide that goes interlocking with that ruler guide. So when you go to cut with that guide, you're just going straight up that ruler. You can't go away. If you try to move away, the ruler goes with you. So it's really nice. And so it's easier, it is safer, it is way more accurate. If you do a lot of cutting, save your wrist the problems, save your finger the problems. You'll love the True Cut product. So I guarantee it, you'll love it. So reach out to Nicole, get the True Cut product. If you're looking up online, you can go to graceframe.com. You can go to Nicole's website as well, Sadie Quilts, sadiequilts.com, and you'll see how nice it is. So just like Roxanne, yep, True Cut is a great product. It absolutely is. I love my True Cut products. I need a few more. Well, you could go to Nicole to get a few more. So I guarantee that you'll love the True Cut product. If you don't win one, go buy some of these, and you'll be happy that you did.
And I love that you have them available for everybody to test out, because sometimes
we have it. The 45 millimeter setup, left-handed and right-handed, because everybody because it's so universal, it just works great. So we just let everybody demo it with those two, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, and sometimes people really do want to touch the things before they buy it. So go to Sadie Quilts. Nicole will show you how to use everything, and how you can also, you don't have to use it specifically with this system. If you have your own rulers, you can use the cutters with your own rulers, and you can use your own cutters with our rulers. So you don't have to buy a complete new system, but it'll help you get started from the very beginning.
Yes, it will. Okay, so ready? Everybody ready for some of these giveaways?
Get close to your computer, type it up.
That's right, we're going to need your fingers ready. Okay, Nicole, no, you can't win, so I don't want to see any comments coming from you. No, I'm just kidding. You can put the comments in there too, Nicole, if you want to. All right, so
our first question is going to be on the cutie film. So this one was at the very end. Carla and Laurel did something to the very edge of the quilt when they were getting started. So what was it that they were doing at the edge of the quilt? And I can't say any more than that, because that gives it away.
What did they
do? What we're doing at the edge of the quilt when they were getting started with the cutie and the domestic machine that they were working on.
Which, by the way, is a great feed or information, a piece of information for anybody who's doing free motion quilting. What they did can go on anything that they're doing, because it is a great way to know kind of where you're at. This is probably going to give us some hints, so know where you're at. We see some base, some chalk, good answers, but that's not what we're looking for. So
it was right at the end. So they had done it once, and then as they moved the fabric again the next time, she took something and did something with it. She said, "Oh, don't forget this."
Yeah. So more coming in. So another great hit, what I said is for every quilting, Jana
Yes.
and Nicole, is if you think about when you quilt, you lose kind of where you're at, right? If you're quilting on a small machine, you forget where you are in your quilt. So think about it that way. If you forget where you are, what's a great way to mark where you are? So you know if you're reaching to the side of the quilt, if you're coming to the front of your quilt, because nothing is more frustrating when you're doing circles, and before you know it, your back of the machine hits the throat or the bar, and so your circle becomes a square, or it's cut off because you're so in tune to where your front is. And so
yeah, we've got a lot of them. Yes, they used the tape, and they taped where their edge was. So Dee Dawson is our first person to give that answer. So congratulations, Dee. Yes, they put a piece of tape down, so because on any frame or any place that you're quilting, you're gonna have an edge where you can't quilt past. And so they were marking that edge, so as Laurel was getting set into it, she wouldn't automatically keep going and get off that and then hit the side and have some items to have to pick out on that quilt. So congratulations, Dee.
Yep. So that's a good tip. So get painter's tape and you can mark those edges. All
Okay,
right.
so we're gonna have this prize for you, Dee. We're gonna have a Plinko chip gone through, so you're gonna win
That's
one
right.
of these prizes.
And because I love this glare going on right here, I'm gonna drop it up there so you can't see where it starts, and see if we can even see it fall down. I'm curious to see if we can go. All right, here we go, Dee, this is for you. And there it is. Okay, the My Comfort Cutter 45.
Oh, congratulations.
So Dee, the My Comfort Cutter is just how it sounds, is My Comfort. So you're gonna notice that the handle is curved while the blade is facing down towards the fabric. And so what that's gonna do is keep your wrist, yep, Nicole shows it, keeps your wrist nice and straight. You're not needing to move your blade to the fabric by bending your wrist to get there. Then we also have white knuckles. I don't have a close-up, but right now I'm getting white knuckles because I'm squeezing. We all do that. So Dee and anybody else who's like, oh, I love that idea. My Comfort Cutter, it is 45 millimeter, so it's a standard size. And the best part is Dee, is you won that one. So, all right.
Congratulations. So we're gonna pick someone from our Grace platform as well. The person with that answer correctly first is Ellen M. So Ellen and Dee, email allegra@graceframe.com. Send her your information for your address so we can get your prizes for you. But now we're gonna do a chip for Ellen's prize.
That's right. And I thought that was kind of cool. You couldn't see the Plinko come down until
And then all of
we
a
reset
sudden
down here.
it was really fast.
Yeah. So let's do that again. And I'm going to come over on this side now. There it is. And that went down
straight
to
down, yeah.
straight down to the straight cutter.
So congratulations, Ellen, for that 60 millimeter straight cutter. Again, that has that magnetic piece inside the head of the cutter. So when you're switching out your blades, you can just slide out the old one and not even touch the new blade, and it'll snap right onto there, so you can do it without touching any of the blades.
Yep.
Okay, so again, email allegra@graceframe.com, and she'll be able to get you all that information. So let's see, I wanted to check to make sure there was no questions that came in
Yeah.
before we were done.
We still have one more.
Yeah, we have one more
Yeah.
question for us, but
No, yeah,
Okay.
on the first video, right? Yeah.
you want to do that one?
No, you go right ahead.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about this, but in that fundamentals of free motion quilting, we talked about, Carla said 3 things that we were needing to do. So ways to practice your free motion fundamentals. And we, Nicole and Mark and I, we all kind of talked a little bit about those to kind of give you guys a help. So we need the 3 ways that she talked about in the video, other than just what's in your head. What are 3 ways that she talked about you could do free motion quilting that were little helps?
That's right. Yeah, 3 by 12-foot frame. So Nicole, as they're getting their answers in, going back to the videos that we're just watching and talking about all the different ways that they can quilt, I am going to be curious to know when these answers come in, because I'm going to have another number I want to throw out there on how well the people can do these or what they're going to practice with, because now they're going to have that great way. And so some of them are already coming in. So we have,
But we need
we have
all
one.
three.
We need 3.
We need
Yeah.
3
so
of
some guys are
them
bringing
on
in
one comment.
So like Delta, Jeanette. So a lot of you guys are putting just one on there, but she talked about, there's three different ones. So put them all together. So
Let's see. I'm looking on the Gray site, see what we've got going on there. So while we're waiting for those to come through, Deb on the Gray site asks, I know where we oil for the bobbin case, but do we need to oil inside the machine as well?
Nope, you don't have to. And that's what makes the Qnique machines so sought after, I guess, and people love them.
That has to be the biggest question I get.
Yeah.
Is how do we service our machines?
Yep, exactly.
We don't have to.
No, the Qnique machines, you don't have to. There's no maintaining it. You just need to oil the bobbin hook and the needle bar. The needle bar and the bobbin hook. The rest of the machine is sealed ball bearing, which all the moving parts in the machine are going to have that constant lubrication, the oil on the ball bearing pieces. And then at the bottom, we have a sealed part right next to where the bobbin hook is. So all the lint and stuff won't travel inside the machine, which now we're not really talking about oiling it, that's maintaining it. But no, you just have to oil the bobbin hook and the needle bar on our machines. Okay, do we have
There's a little port for it.
Yeah. Yep,
they're designed for it.
Okay.
We're right there.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
Delta Gilbert, doodle, trace, and practice pieces are 3 of the ones that she talked about. So she talked about doodling, she talked about tracing, using your marker tool to trace on the fabric itself. She talked about putting paper down and doing paper tracing, and then practicing, right? Doing all your practice pieces. So congratulations, Delta. We'll do a fun Plinko, True Cut, or Finesse giveaway here.
Okay, let's go down. We're going in the middle this time. And that went down to the straight cutter.
60
so Delta,
mm.
60 millimeter straight cutter
Congratulations.
on that one.
And then on the Gray site, we have someone who has put in their name as Great Job. So great job. You, both you and Delta, if you guys can email Allegra at graceframe.com and give her your information so she can get your prizes sent out to you.
Yep. So the other one, let's drop it for the great job.
Great job, yeah.
Yep, here we go. Great job.
Oh,
There it is.
a 4-pack of finesse thread. This is going to be the variegated thread, so you're going to have some fantastic colors. There's a blue green, a green green, a gray, and a lighter gray. So it's going to be fantastic for you. So congratulations again. Anybody that's won anything through the Plinko, contact Allegra at graceframe.com with your address and how she can send those out to you, and we'll get those going.
Yep. Okay.
All right, so our last video, not our last event.
We're going to do
Oh, that's
the
right. We got to
giveaway.
do our
Sorry,
giveaway.
Yeah, we got to get back on. She's so excited to do the
I'm so
video.
excited
and
for the
I'm excited to do
video.
the giveaway. I'm like, let's do the giveaway. So we have the other giveaway, which will be the travel kit that we talked about. And the travel kit, I can't express like how much this has been so good for those who travel. It comes with a 28 cutter, your scissors. It comes with a cutting mat. It comes with a picking tool. It comes with a marking tools.
Comes with that wristband that holds all your your pins with it. It also comes with all the fantastic. If you can see right there, there's a little case at the back, and it has a pin section, so you can either pin your pattern together or you can do it on the rough side, and it just kind of it's like a little flannel board.
Yes.
Okay, so our giveaway for the True Cut Travel Kit, can we get a drum roll, is Cinda Gillerton. So congratulations,
Yes.
Cinda. We will get you that brand new True Cut Travel Kit. You're going to be the envy of all your quilting friends.
Yes, you will. All right, so do we have a little more time to talk about the product before, or are we jumping right into the...
Yeah, we can talk about the product and the
Well,
discount on the product this month.
yeah.
That's big.
So Nicole, what are your thoughts on the product and the discounts? Go ahead and let's turn the time over to you to talk about some of those.
The Sure Stitch Elite is
Yes.
that is an amazing price that it's at right now. With just changing over pricing today, I had to print it all out.
Yep.
25% off Sure Stitch Elite, so it's a $900 product that we have down to $675. It's amazing just to be able to put stitch regulation on your machine, on your domestic for under $1,000 as it is, and then now it's under $700. So it's an amazing price that we can get people used to the stitch regulation. That is actually the same technology just about that we use on our Unique machines. So I think it's just fantastic. I wish I had known about it sooner, to be completely honest. I think it's a great add-on to the cuties because people are having, again, those little troubles with getting exact stitching properly. But that 25% off is just, there's nothing you can say better about it. It's just amazing for that price point.
It is amazing. And then I talked about earlier, Nicole and Jana, when you're thinking about a regulated machine, you're talking a whole lot more than just $1,000 to get a machine that's regulated. And now you have the opportunity of turning your domestic machine into a regulated machine for $675, which is really unheard of. And it's a great way to get away from your foot pedal if you don't want to use your foot pedal and get that regulator attached.
The thumb press, right?
Yeah, and what I love about it is not only does it come with stitch regulation and it has all those things, it also has that edge warning like the other Unique machines. So you can set that area without doing that tape. You can set it up in the machine itself and it will beep and flash at you. So when you're getting close, and it can set within half an inch or an inch, and then you can know exactly you're not going to get hitting any of those clips accidentally or the sides, that you're going to just stay in that section. And my other favorite thing about the Elite is the fact that when you buy the Elite, it's not just for one machine. It's for all the machines that are compatible with that Sure Stitch Elite. So whether you have the Juki that's compatible, or the Brother, or the Janome, you might have multiple machines. You might have gone from one machine to the other, but you have that compatibility all in that same package. So that $675 price is for all of them. It's not just one machine.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, let's
get to that video.
Yay. Okay, so we're going to have this. It's from Carla. She's going to show us all about that Sure Stitch Elite.
Hello everybody and welcome. Thank you for joining me today on this beautiful sunny day here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I know you're going to have a lot of great questions during this segment because I'm introducing one of our accessories that I just love, and it's our stitch regulator. The stitch regulator works so well, but it's not compatible with every machine out there. And just understand that every machine is a little different. And without having access to every machine, it's hard to make the electronics work with them. And so we have made it compatible with the machines that are pretty much the quilting machines and some more. So with the Brother machines out there that we're compatible with, some of them are, embroidery machines and a little bit more digitized, but we're compatible with them, and they're a little slower machines. So just check online, if you click on the Sure Stitch Regulator, the compatibility chart, and we are compatible with several machines out there. So make sure, and if you have a question, you're more than welcome to call and ask. Just call our 800 number, or you can sign in on chat and chat with one of our account executives, and they'll be more than happy to help you figure out if your machine is compatible. I don't want you just to count on that, because sometimes you'll miss seeing your machine, or maybe it's not listed, but we know it's compatible. So just give us a call or sign in to chat, and we'll give you the updates on that. So when I first started at the Grace Company, started full-time. I've always worked part-time doing things for the Grace Company, but Well, I started in the office, and speaking to customers about stitch regulation was just so foreign to me, and the concept of how it worked, it was just very confusing. Now it's just very clear, but I've worked in the industry for a long time, so I've come to understand a few things. And I just wanted to explain to you a little bit about how stitch regulation works. And I'm going to show you the parts and pieces and how easy it is to set up on your frame and the great instructions. But I want to jump in and tell you a little story. I was really struggling with understanding stitch regulation. So our electrical engineer, Kent, explained it to me in a great way, and I thought I would share that with you. It's like driving a car. When you accelerate driving your car, you're not going to push on that gas and accelerate really at a fast speed unless you're a NASCAR driver. And we do have NASCAR quilters. I'll have to say that. Some of you are pretty fast. But you want to slowly press on the gas to accelerate. And that's what the stitch regulation does. So without pushing on the foot pedal, it has little sensors, and we call those encoders, that sense the movement of the carriage. And so if you start moving it faster, it kicks in and says, oh, okay, you're moving this carriage faster, so we need to accelerate the speed of the needle moving up and down. And then if you slow down, then it slows down the needle. But it takes a little time for it to speed up and slow down, just like when you're driving your car and you don't want to stop, a sudden stop, you want to kind of gradually move into it. So when you get the stitch regulator, and you'll see that the needle is moving up and down at a constant speed, that is so it will engage more quickly and keep your stitches consistent. Now, if it wasn't moving up and down, you'd have a little lag time in between them, and you'd get a longer stitch. So that's why it's important for the needle to move up and down, so you get that consistent stitch when you're starting and when you're stopping and starting and stopping again. So that was just a little story I thought was very helpful for me to understand stitch regulation. So let me show you the box. When you order it, it comes in this little box, and it has a lot packed in this little box. Inside this box, you get a great set of instructions and all the tools and pieces that you need to attach it to your frame carriage and your frame. Okay, so just know that you don't need any additional parts and pieces. It comes with it. The first thing I want you to do is to fill out your warranty card. It's really important that you send in your registration so that you can have that warranty on all the little parts and pieces. And I believe it's a year warranty on all of the parts. So don't lose them. Keep the box there. It's nice that if after the warranty runs out, if you need us to check and see if something's going wrong, that you send it back in the box, and so we can keep everything together. So it's small enough that you could find a little stash or a little place in your room to keep it. So make sure you fill out the warranty card and send it in. Then, having said that, these instructions are pretty thick, okay? And so when you're going through it, I just want to show you how easy it is to maneuver through these instructions here. Let me put this back in, if I can. Okay, so here's your instruction book. And because we've been in business quite a while and we've made a lot of frames, that's why it has to be this thick. Because the frames are different and how you mount it on, we've evolved. So our carriages have changed, and which is good. It's good to evolve, to find new and better ways of doing things, and that's what we at Grace Company are all about, is finding new and better ways of bringing products and things to you. So in the instructions, if you go through your user manual, what you'll do is you have your table of contents here. You will just find your parts list right here. So I go through my parts list to make sure you have everything in your box. Then it gives you the different styles of carriages that were and are available now. And we're starting with the current versions first, and it's the G Series carriage and a dual wheel carriage. Those are the two styles that we currently are selling on our frames. So if you have a current frame, if you just purchased it, those are the two that you would move to. Now the dual wheel is dual wheel on the bottom and the top. Okay, so it's dual wheel on the bottom carriage and dual wheel on the top. The G Series carriage is a single wheel on the bottom and a dual on the top. So just know that there's a little bit different. And then we had the Pro carriage a long time ago, and then we have a G Series 2 dual and a G Series 2 single. So, and we keep going. Okay, in these instructions, you just move to the carriage that you have, and we have the, the settings for the sure stitch. So with some of them, if you start out with one machine, you can upgrade to another machine, another domestic machine, and just change the jumper position. So since I've showed you that, I just want to kind of go through the box. Here's the set of tools and the cord cable management pieces. They're little zip ties and mounts that you can use to manage your cables, which is really important as you're quilting. So you don't want the cords to get in the way. This here is the main control box. Okay, so with the main control box, it's where all your little plugs and ports are going to plug into. And we have given you two different Velcro sticky, because we know that the Velcro can get dried out after time, so you get two of them now, and they are very handy. And then in this control box, if you open it up, you can open it up right here, and you can see that this is the electronic board that I was talking about. So with this electronic board, for some of the machines, this is what makes it compatible with the machines, is this board right here. And this has jumper settings, and right here, see these little black things right here? These are called jumpers, and the position of these jumpers make it work with your machine. So for some of the machines, they're set like that. And this is the Juki 2010, so if you're looking to change from like a Janome 1600 to a Juki 2010, you could just use one control box but change the jumper settings. So that's how that works. And so on the top of your main control box, you have a display cord that plugs in. And this display cord plugs in, and then it also plugs into the display. And your display comes with a little mount for the G Series carriages, and it's like this. So that's what the display looks like. And it has an on-off switch on the display, a pulse, and it has the up and down for the stitch length. So that's what the display looks like, and that's what the cord for the display. Then you have a power cord, because the Sure Stitch takes a power cord that plugs into an outlet. You just can't plug it into your sewing machine and not plug it into a power outlet. So you need to have it accessible, or just a good extension cord with a lot of ports that you can plug it into. Then that plugs into one side, this side of your control box. So that's two cords. We have the display cord and the power cord. On this side here is where you will plug in your foot pedal cord, or that's what I call it. Your cord that plugs into the port on your foot pedal. And you can see for the Jukis, it's an angled cord, but this port, this male port plugs into this side, and then this end will plug into my Juki, where my foot pedal plugs into. Then, last but not least, are fantastic encoders. And they are like a telephone port, and they will plug in down here. Now, with the encoders, you're going to mount these encoders to your carriage. And these little guys are what sense the movement. This little O-ring is really important to make sure that it stays on, but this, as it's moving along, senses the movement, and it has a little board inside of here, a little electronic board that just communicates with this main board, that communicates with the sewing machine, tells it to speed up and slow down. You have 2 encoders. One mounts to the top plate, which is your front to back movement, and one mounts to your bottom plate, which is the side to side movement. Now, these encoders are not hard to attach and put on. I am a big proponent of if you purchase the Sure Stitch, do it yourself. Don't let anybody else do it for you. It's not that hard. Now, taking your machine on and off your frame to attach it, you do need to do that. So if you need help with your machine, please have somebody help you take it off, but then use the instructions and attach it. It's not hard to do. So, I've just gone through everything, and I just wanted to show you that. I'm just going to run to the back of the frame just to show you where the encoders are. I'm just going to set this off to the side here. Okay, the magic of... Anyway, I just wanted to show you. So here's my display that I've mounted right here, and it's my on and off. And so notice that this cord I've wrapped around the arm and moved it to the back. So now I'm just going to move. I'm going to come around this way, Brian, so I'm not walking in front of the camera. So notice that this display cord is plugged into the top right here of my control box. All right, here is my power cord that I've plugged in. I've plugged in down there. All right, and then here are my 2 encoders. Now this is my top encoder, which is mounted to my top carriage. And then underneath here, I don't know if you can see, but is my bottom encoder. And it's mounted to my bottom carriage. So I've got my movement. And then here is where I have plugged in my foot pedal cord, and it's mounted to the side. So you have 5 cords that you plug in. And I suggest you turn your machine off as you plug them in. And then after they're all plugged in, turn it on and just have a test piece of fabric so that you get to understand and know the feel. I've talked your ear off now. I'm just going to show you the difference of them. I'm just going to quickly quilt this next little section so that you can see and hear how great the stitch regulator is, because if you don't have it and your machine's compatible, you're going to want it. And yes, we are going to be coming out with a new Sure Stitch down the road, and it's going to have a lot of great features. But don't wait, because we will have programs and be able to work with you with little trade-ins and stuff like that. So don't let that stop you, because I know that just having started out with my foot pedal, that was great. It was fun, and I really enjoyed it. But adding this extra accessory just makes it that much nicer. And you can do it in increments as you can afford it. We're not asking you to jump all in all at once, because I don't want you to go bankrupt like our government, okay? I want you to do it within your means and do it fiscally responsible. So let's jump in and do some sewing. I'm so used to using the foot pedal lately. I'm just waiting. It's like driving a clutch. When you're not driving a clutch anymore, your foot's always there ready to push on it. So anyway, let me just get it started and show you how fun it is just to add the stitch regulator. So I'm just going to turn it on here. And you can see how it's moving up and down. So you don't want to hold it in one place too long. But you can hear it speed up and slow down. But see how nice and consistent my stitches are staying? Oh, God, it just makes it so nice. And it allows you to learn your design. So if, my rule of thumb, if you don't know your design and it's a new design, start out on a slower speed. I told you that a lot of times. But if you do know your design, Start out at faster speed because you'll be moving it faster, okay? And I could do this all day, but I'm not because I've talked your ear off. All right, we'll stop right there. But you can see the difference in the stitches as I was moving. So, it just helps keep it nice and consistent, and it's just one of those accessories that I know that you will love if you have the opportunity to have your machine compatible with that. Join me next time. I'm going to add the Unique 15M, which is our manual machine. It's a great starting point to introduce you into a little bit longer machine with the extra throat space so that you can accomplish a little bit more. It's a manual machine, but I want to introduce that machine to you because it's a great starting point in your progression of quilting. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. I'm excited about our quilting journey, and thank you again. Take care.
Welcome back, everybody. We're so happy that you're still with us. You're watching all our fun videos, and we're learning so much about quilting now.
That's right. Couple things. Love the video, right? The regulator. Couple comments that we just want to hit on before we move on to this awesome frame. A couple of them were like, oh, there's a lot of cords. Just know in that video, we had our camera cords in there. There's only 3 cords that go on the regulator. That's it. You have the 2 encoder cords, and then you have the power cord that goes up to the screen part of the regulator, and that is it. So there's not a lot of cords.
Yeah, and also some questions people were saying that doesn't look like the Sure Stitch Elite. We're sorry, it was the Sure Stitch regulator. The Elite just has the screen, so they're the same concept, the same stitches, how it works, the touch on and off. You don't have to use your foot pedal, but the Elite is a different display screen.
Yep, just like Nicole said earlier, the Elite runs the same technology that all of our Unique machines run. So the encoders are the same, and then you have that nice 2.5-inch touchscreen that you have edge warning on that. So it's very clean, very nice, and it's our newer stitch regulator that's very awesome. So hopefully that clears a couple things up on that. But yeah, it's wonderful to have on your domestic machine. So now we have our new, and this is the frame, if you guys remember at the beginning of the video, Nicole had this frame in her store.
Yeah, this is the new Evolution hoop frame. It's 5 feet, and we've got some fantastic features we want to go over. First thing is that you can build with it. So just like we talked at the beginning, we have so many great options wherever you are in your quilting journey. So you can start with the 5-foot hoop frame that also rolls, has the option for both. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but you can build on this. So you can start with 5 feet, and then there's different extensions you can add, a 3-foot or a 2-foot, so that you can get to 8, 10, or 12. And there's also a 5-foot, so that when you can easily do that. So if you're starting out and you're just not sure if you're going to be able to do, what your space is, but eventually you're going to grow, this is a great frame to get started with.
That's right, and I love you talk about the growth. And so that's, again, Grace Company's really MO, right? You can start somewhere and then work and progress as you feel comfortable getting further into your hobbies. You can start with the hoop frame, and then you can end up getting a nice 8, 10, or 12-foot rolling frame system. When you have the room, we always hear about, oh, when my son or daughter leaves,
happens.
or something happens down the road, I got to knock out this wall. Whenever that case may be, you can take this hoop frame and move it to the 8, 10, or 12 on as you grow with your hobby.
Now, things that come with this frame, you can see right away, you get the carriage, this bottom carriage. It's a dual track system, so there's 2 tracks on each side of the wheels, front and back, and on the top. You're also going to get the table so that you can do pantograph work easily. You'll get the leader claws, and you get a set of 4 bungee clips. And you can see they're attached here on the side. I've got them going over here. There's also sections on the other side. So you have 4 total for whatever you're working on there.
That's right, and I love that the table, so these right here, this that I'm touching right here, these are the tables that it comes with. So doing your pantographs, paper tracing, anything that you want to work from behind the machine, you can put right on top of this table and then go along and do your tracing as you work that way, which is really nice. I also love the clips. So these have new clips on there, as you can see. This has a spring-loaded piece. With the Cutie, with our other hoop frames, we have a bungee elastic that wraps the fabric up. With this Elite, we have this nice and simple clip that comes off. And then you have this mechanism here. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this over to this camera here so you can see what I'm talking about, which is really nice. You have this nice clip here, and that's for the fabric. So your fabric goes right into here while this spring loaded holds it right into place. And so you can hear that. So this is the new clap that goes on the back rail. You simply squeeze it and it goes on, which is nice. You can see that opening and closing on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that right back on the back rail there.
One of the questions is what machines will fit on here. Now, because of these clips that are on the back, you do need a larger harp. So the harp is the measurement from the top of your inside area and the bottom. So your throat is from the needle to the back, your harp is the top and bottom. So you are going to need at least, how many inches is it? Is it 8 inches for these?
Yeah.
On the harp. So do measure your machine. It would come with the G-Series top plate to sit on there with your machine, and then you'd have that other section if you're doing the hooping with that.
That's right. Couple questions, what size of rail do the clips fit? So these ones have a little thicker rail. So on the front here, these have a different type of clip because the rail is a little thicker rail. And you notice we have grooves indented on this front rail. And this front rail, you can hear that. So it actually rotates on this hooping frame, which is pretty awesome. We'll talk about that feature here in a minute. But these clips you see right here with the indents, you notice, this is going to help keep the fabric nice and taut. And they're easier to come off, and what's nice is there's going to be 2 of them. And so right here you see the grooves that come in there, which is really, really, really nice, that go along, and it has these mechanisms that goes right onto the side there. So as we go ahead and put that on there, you're going to notice that it has, and so there it is. So nice, different size clip than what you probably see on our website. So this now goes right onto the front rail, and it snaps right into place.
The other thing that we were saying is it's a hoop frame, and you can see that it's set up for that. And the other thing that has is what Mark was showing is it has that ability to roll at the 5 feet length. So on this ratchet, so one of the other fantastic things about this is we have these metal ratchets. So you can hear this clip right here. It's this metal part. And then as I pull this up, I'll show you this ratchet system. It's all metal. So it's going to be lasting a lot longer than some of the plastics. So, but to do your ratcheting system, if you're going to do the roll rail, you have this piece that's totally smooth all the way around. And if you're going to do your hoop, there's one that has a little stopper in it so that it doesn't go as you're
you don't want it
leaning
rotating.
forward. Yeah, you don't want to rotate if
rotating.
you're doing the hoop. See how it's just easily coming around, and you can't do that with your domestic or with the Unique machine. So you're going to want to make sure that you put the stopper on for the Elite hoop versus when you're doing the rolling.
But that's with these 2 rails. If you're doing a table runner, if you're doing a crib size, a baby quilt, go ahead and take the piece off over there and get the ratchet. So now you can turn your hoop frame into a rolling frame system. So both these, as you can see, both of these will roll when you have that right piece in there. But like Janice says, if you're hooping, you want to make sure you put the other plastic wheel in there, or the other plastic part that goes on the ratchet side, so that way this rail does not spin. And so,
when you're doing the rolling section of this, you don't need these clips. So if you're thinking, oh, I would love a 5-foot rolling frame, I'm just going to always do it rolling, not a hoop, you don't have to use those clips here in the back, and so then you can use a shorter harp for that section.
That's right. So we love this Elite frame. Again, it's a hoop style frame, which means you can do your king size, you can do your queen, you can do your crib, any size of quilt can fit on this 5-foot frame. It does come with legs. It is a very sturdy metal frame with legs, and so you do need a 5-foot section build out, I guess, in your sewing room that this can go into. But it's a hoop style frame that allows you to do any size of quilting. You can put your machine on here, and this will go up to 21 inches of throw space. Again, we talk about the growth of not only the frame, but you can grow with your machine.
And in the past, the 21 inch can only be put on those larger frames. So the fact that we've got this one available on your 21 inches can go on a smaller footprint. So even though you have a small quilting area, you can still do a lot of throw space.
That's right. So this little frame is packed full of wonderful features. Throat size for your machines, any size of quilt, rolling rails. You can expand. The list goes on and on and on with this Evolution Elite frame. And this is brand new this year, and it's been well received in the market because of just the features we talked about. So again, if you're thinking about doing a 5-foot frame and you wanted to be able to do king size, you want to have the rolling frames mechanism to do smaller ones, this is the way to go.
So we have a question from Roxanne. How do you connect your leader cloths to this frame if you want to use it for rolling as opposed to the hooping style?
Yeah. So the cloth leaders will have a Velcro piece that you would put on your rail. And so you're able to attach it, and the other side of the cloth leader will have the other side of the Velcro. So once you attach that strip of Velcro, it is only attached by the Velcro piece. So it's pretty easy.
Yeah, so you have both options in there. Okay, so let's bring Nicole back on so we can see what wonderful things have you found out about the Evolution frames, Nicole?
Well, I just started in the store about a month ago, but I love the fact that if you have it in hoop mode, you can still roll that bottom rail and click it in a little bit further, you know, closer to the belly bar, I would call it. You can click it and get your quilt that much tighter, which is just that little bit. When you go to the hooping, sometimes it's a little awkward. So when you have that extra little click or two, that makes such a difference with it. And then I love the fact that it is completely upgradable to the next size up. So I know a lot of people get it. They're like, oh my gosh, I love this, but I need to grow a little bit bigger. Can we put a 3-foot extension on, or like just keep on growing it out? And to me, that's just like the way that you can keep on adding features to it and get it to a size like today I can afford this, but maybe in a year I can add on a little bit more. And I think that's just it's just the exact way that I think of quilters starting and then growing through is the same as adding sure stitch or anything else like that. It's just huge to have that ability to do it. I was so excited when I found out about this, like jumping for joy. I couldn't wait to tell my rep, but I was so excited.
Yeah, it's like a budget-friendly way of doing your quilting. You can start small, start with your budget, and then you can grow, as like I said earlier, as you grow with your hobby. So there's not like, oh, I got to start on a $10,000 package. No, you can start right here. You can start even on the cutie. We talked about the cutie, right? So you can start with the cutie that's on sale this month for $6.89. You can start there, and then you can decide, okay, I want to get a bigger hoop frame.
I've got a dedicated area.
And I can grow with it. So no matter where you want to start, Nicole has all the wonderful price or products from us as Grace Company.
Everybody's talking about that Luminous Fire and how they all wanted it. Well, if you buy a new frame this month, it's included.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yep. Any of the hoop frames.
So just answer a quick question. You know, this frame, just to come again, it does come with the cloth leaders. So you do get the cloth leaders for this frame, and you do get the bungees that come with this frame as well.
And so everything you see here, and then if you need, if your domestic machine is compatible, it will come with that top plate as well. So this is available whichever way you're doing it, whether you're going to use a Unique machine or whether you're going to use a domestic.
That's right. Okay, yep, it is an awesome frame. So many, like I said, packed full features from just we talked about, from the clips to the thicker steel to being 5 foot. You can roll, you can expand, you can put your domestic machine on here, you can put the Q-Nick up to 21 inches on here. So again, packed full of features and a great way to do your quilting. So
and I love those
the
new
Evolution
clips.
Elite. Yeah.
Those new clips on the back, they're so nice to just clip in, and then everything just flips right into it. It's great.
Yeah, there's no, and I like that you don't have to adjust the straps because that's the other part. I mean, it works great, but that's a nice feature.
Yeah, it definitely is a nice little feature.
Okay, so as we're about to end, Nicole, we have our giveaway that we still need to do.
Our cutie bundle. Yeah.
But before we do that, maybe go ahead and share with everybody again how they can get a hold of you, where you're located, and kind of the deals that you have going on so they can find you and start ordering from Sadie's Quilts.
Yeah, so the website sadiequilts.com. I have a huge information page just on the Grace Quilting, the Grace Company information is all on my one page. And then from there, you can shop most of it online. I did just update my website, so there's a few things that aren't on there. If something is not listed and you're interested in it, feel free to call me or text me 585-648-8884. That number is textable also, and I respond all day long and all night. I don't stop. Or shoot me an email, Nicole@sadiequilts.com, and I'd be more than happy to help anybody with anything. But if you're in the area of upstate New York, please feel free to stop by. It's right in the Finger Lakes region, right almost between central and western New York. It's a nice area. Lots of wineries.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. Sadie, Nicole, you and your like I said, when you and Grace Company partner together, such a great opportunity. We love local groups. We love the shops who want to make sure the customer's taken care of. But I know with you, Nicole, your biggest love of quilting is your customers. You take care of your customers. You make sure that, you make sure they're taken care of. And so if you're in the area, or if you're not in the area, still go to her website. Support Nicole and all that she does. She's been, like I said, her journey has been growing. She takes care of the customers, and you can't put a price on that, right, Jana and Nicole?
So
you can't
true.
put a price on customer service, and so if you want the best, go to Nicole.
And that's one of the reasons we're so happy to be partnering with Sadie Quilts is because we're always looking for fantastic dealers who have the same customer service mindset that we do. So no matter where you're getting the product, whether it's through Sadie's or you're calling us for help, that Nicole's going to give you that same customer service as if you call us. So don't feel like, oh, I have to call Grace.
Yeah.
Even though I bought it from Sadie's Quilts, you can call me.
Sadie's I'll see what I
and
can
talk
do
to
for you.
Nicole.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so
are we ready for the large giveaway?
I'm so excited. So again, this is our cutie bundle. It's the cutie fabric frame as well as the 4-pack of bungees and that 8-pack of thread. So that's 4 solid and 4 variegated threads. It's gonna be fantastic. Awesome. So drum roll.
Yeah, we'll do drum roll right here.
On here, yeah. Linda Champney, congratulations. You are the winner. Yeah, so it's so fantastic. So again, anybody that has won a prize, if it's a pre-registration, we have your information. If you were a Plinko winner, please email allegra@graceframe.com and send her that information so we can get your fantastic prizes out to you. But thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We've had a fantastic time. I hope you guys have learned so much and just are ready to keep quilting.
Yep. It was so much fun. Thank you, Nicole, and everybody. Again, make sure you pre-register on the next ones. If you didn't, always pre-register so you can win. And stay tuned for the next one. So I'm sure we'll have plenty more of these, Nicole. We'll get these going, and
I hope so.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
It was fun. Yep, a lot of fun.
Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya.